Hi, morning everyone, Cornish Chris, welcome back to my channel. I've got a different video for you today. I met an amazing individual called Murdo Crosbie, and I was fascinated to find out more about the River Cree Hatchery and Habitat Trust. And today I've gone along to the hatchery to meet Murdo and to find out more about how a hatchery works. And I thought you would find it interesting and fascinating as well, so I've recorded it as usual. So please don't hesitate to give me a massive thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new, and if you want to support my channel, please use the super thanks button, which is there in the player. Thanks very much. I hope you enjoy this video. Proper job. Thanks very much for doing this little interview. So maybe you could introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about this hatchery.
Right, not a problem, Chris. Well, I'm Murdo Crosbie. I'm employed by the River Cree Hatchery and Habitat Trust. My role is hatchery coordinator. Set this up in 2010.
Yeah.
The reason we set it up was the fact that we noticed the fish numbers in the river were declining.
Right.
Hence the reason we were doing this.
Yeah.
We'll take you in and we'll have a look and see what it's like.
Yeah, please do. Thank you.
At the moment, we still have some fry in here which are fin clipped.
Yeah.
These should have been out this last week, but obviously, as you can see with the weather outside, we're still hanging on to them.
Sure.
This tank's empty just now. What we actually do with the fin clips, these are graded out so that you're taking the bigger fish out, and this tank here is actually smaller fish.
Right.
We'll give another fortnight to try and bring them on a wee bit.
Yeah.
Just watch your feet here. There's not so many fish in the tanks now. These are all fin clip fish. These will go out into the main stem of the tree.
Right. But so how small do they start? You breed them yourself, or how does it work?
The season starts from the end of October, where we're catching broodstock.
Right.
We are catching broodstock from the River Mini, the River Cree and the River Pinkill.
Okay.
The broodstock come to the hatchery. We keep them in here until we're ready to strip.
Yeah.
Once they're ready to strip, we strip them and fertilise eggs on site here.
What do you mean by stripping?
We're actually extracting the eggs out the female fish.
Ah, I see, right, okay. Yeah.
Taking the eggs out the female, then we're adding the milk, which is the sperm from the cock fish,
Right.
for the fertilisation process.
Yeah.
Once they're stripped and that, these troughs that are up here, these actually finish up sitting here.
Yeah.
That's where the eggs will lie. So they will lie there from November
Yeah.
through to February, March, April time until they hatch.
Okay.
Once hatched, the eggs are then classed as alvins.
Yeah.
The alvins are then placed in an incubator,
Right.
and they are placed in there for anything up to 5 or 6 weeks. The reason that is happening is because we want them to use their egg sac, their yolk sac, as putting in bulk rather than energy.
Right.
If we don't do that, you finish up getting a thing called white nip yolk sac. And if you do get that, that will finish up killing the wee fry.
Nip what?
Yolk sac.
Yolk sac.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Basically what happens is they're using up the yolk sac too quickly,
Yeah.
and you finish up with a wee bulbous end
Right.
on them that turns white. Once that happens, that fish is not viable. It's going to
Really?
die.
Wow.
Yeah. So doing it in an incubator, we don't have any of that at all.
No.
Doing them in the troughs, you would have quite a fair percentage.
Right.
That's because they're swimming rather than just sitting there using up the yolk sac as energy and growing bulk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. And so how long do they stay? How do they all move from each individual tank, or?
What happens once they've used up their yolk sac in the incubator?
Yeah.
They will then, these incubators have lids on them.
Right.
Once they've used up the yolk sac, they will come to the surface
Yeah.
and actually finish up getting drawn out the clear pipe. They're seeing the light coming in through that clear pipe.
Right.
They're drawn out and they come into the tanks then.
Okay.
Once they are in the tank, we then know that these wee albans are ready to start feeding. If you think about it, in the wild, the albans are in the gravel.
Right.
So when they're ready to feed, they're looking up towards the sky and they're seeing the light.
Okay.
And then that's when you call them swim up cry.
Right.
Basically the same principle here. They're sitting in amongst like foul rings with filtration rings.
Right.
Which kind of keeps them spread out.
Yeah.
And once they're ready, they are looking towards the surface and they're seeing the light getting drawn in through the clear pipe. That's when they swim up. Fascinating to watch. And actually, I don't know if anybody that does Facebook, if you look on the page, they will actually see videos of these wee things actually coming out the pipe and into the tank.
Really?
Fascinating to watch.
Yeah, once they're in there.
But once they're in the tanks and we start feeding them, some of them will only feed for 3-4 weeks, then we'll start putting them into the burns.
Right.
We get to the stage then where we've got roughly 20,000 left, which we will keep till this time of year to take the adipose fin off them.
Wow.
And that is just it's just identification purposes.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, last season we had 14 fish reported by anglers which had no adipose fin.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, not everybody's checking.
Right.
I mean, a prime example, we've had one this year that the beat owner in Loskin was sent a photograph by one of his guests.
Yeah.
And you could clearly see that it had no adipose fin.
Right.
And unfortunately, if that hadn't been sent, we'd never have known about it.
No, no.
So it's difficult to get an idea of how many of these are returning.
Right.
But on the other hand, when we're catching broodstock, we're electrofishing the wee burn that you're flat beside.
Right.
Last year, 10% of what we caught was fin clip.
Right.
The 2 previous years, it was 19%.
Wow.
For fin clip. And that was out of 60 fish handled with 19%. And part of that story is there's only 1/6 of what was stocked in that burn for fin clip.
Yeah.
So that gives you an idea of what return you're getting.
And so what's after they, I take it they're like juvenile now, how long do they take to grow to the point where you'd release them?
These are due for a release now.
Oh right, okay.
Right? These, in normal circumstances, these would have been out of here by now.
I see.
I'm probably about a fortnight behind.
Yeah.
We'll not get into that. I had COVID, so I'm behind a bit this year.
Yeah, fair enough.
So what will happen, these will go back into the river.
Yeah.
These will stay there until at least 2025, and then they will then head to sea as smolts.
Wow.
But this is my preferred method, because when I'm releasing these fish, I will put in 400 or 500 into one spot.
Yeah.
And they just disperse themselves. And they're actually away and they find their own wee niche spots. The beauty to me of that is they're then spending at least a whole year in the river system.
Yeah.
Basically acclimatising, and they're behaving just as a wild fish.
Right.
Yep.
Wow. So, how long has this been running for?
We set this up in 2010.
Right.
We started the groundworks in March in 2010.
Yeah.
And we had the first adult salmon in on the 5th of November 2010.
Wow.
The first year we done a pilot project where we only done 50,000 fry.
Right.
Just to make sure that everything was working the way we wanted it to.
So how many fry do you reckon you're doing now?
We're doing anything up to about 200,000.
Wow. And are these all going into one river, or are they going into many?
They're all going into the Cree,
the
Cree system.
Right.
The Cree, we've got a Minnow, which is a tributary, and the burn beside your pen kiln, it's a tributary.
Right.
So where we take the broodstock from, they go back to where they come from, the fry.
Right.
The only exception to that is we take some fish from the upper Minnow, and we're placing them in the upper Cree, which was basically extinct for salmon.
Really?
And we can't take broodstock from there.
No.
There's no numbers.
No.
So the idea of that is they're coming from roughly about the same altitude,
Yeah.
and we're trying to bring back a run to the actual high Cree.
Wow.
And that's basically down to acidity.
Yeah.
There's no fish there.
So, do other rivers do this?
There is a few. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's like not like a new concept to the UK. I mean, just because I've never heard of it before.
I mean, there's been hatcheries run for over 100 years.
Right.
A lot of them have come and go.
Yeah.
I think they've got to be careful because, I mean, a hatchery could be run by the wrong person.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to say that nobody else can run a hatchery, but if you've got the wrong person running a hatchery,
Yeah.
it can actually be detrimental to the system.
Right.
You know, if they're not producing decent fish, if they're not looking after it properly,
Yeah.
you're going to finish up with a situation these fish would have been better left in the system.
Really.
So, no, there is a few good hatcheries in Scotland.
Yeah.
Obviously Bob Kindness and the Tarn, the Spey,
Yeah.
the Helmsdale, Peter Quayle. There's quite a few.
Okay. Okay.
Not enough though.
No.
Not
No.
enough.
No.
I mean, I've constantly got people contacting me, especially in the last 2 years,
Yeah.
looking to see what we're doing and looking for advice on how they can set up their own hatchery.
Right.
I mean, people are starting to realise now that if we don't do something soon,
Sure.
we're not going to have salmon.
No.
You know, I mean, some rivers are getting to the point where if they'll have left it too late,
Yeah.
and they'll not get a licence from Marine Scotland to catch broodstock.
Right.
The reason I say that is your licence from Marine Scotland is dictated by your rod catch.
Right.
So basically for every 100 fish that you catch in a rod and line, you're allowed to take 20 as broodstock.
Really.
So if you get so some of these rivers that are down to 20 fish a year, which there are river roundabouts that are like that,
Yeah.
they're not going to get a licence. So is it too late? I don't know.
I don't know. So take me through the process of how you then I take it you net them, put them into a bucket.
These fish here, once these are ready to go, we'll drop the water level in the tank, get it as low as possible.
Yeah.
We'll then net them out with hand nets and they go into transport tanks.
Right.
Then they're transported to the river.
Yeah.
At this stage, it's not as crucial to spread them out as much.
Sure.
Whereas when we're taking just the small fed fry,
Yeah.
we will spread them over hundreds of metres, even kilometres.
Wow.
These are spread out thinly right out through some of the smaller burns.
Right. Right.
Again, when they're smaller like that, if we threw them in just a bucket at a time,
Yeah.
the chances are you're going to lose most of them.
Right.
Because they don't spread out the same as what these autumn fry do.
No. No.
So logistics it's not a problem, but it's got to be. You've got to think about it. You know, you've got to have the volunteers in place. I mean, because there's no way you're doing this on your own.
No.
I mean, if I'm taking, say for instance, even 30,000 small fry out,
Yeah.
we're spreading them out somewhere between 2 and 5 per square metre.
Yeah.
So that gives you an idea of how much ground you're going to have to cover.
Absolutely.
Especially if you're in a burn that's 2 to 3 metres wide.
Yeah.
And even then, in that burn, you can only stock in certain areas because there's no point putting them into deep pools.
No.
If you put them into deep pools, they're just trout food.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you're stocking them into the riffly, shallower water, which is what young salmon prefer.
Right.
Yeah.
So what are your hopes for the future with this?
Well, basically the reason we are doing this is I'm hoping that my grandkids have the opportunity to catch salmon. And the way things were going, it was looking doubtful, and even now, unless we do something drastic, it can still be doubtful.
Yeah.
Again, I mean, the Scottish government need to go on board, which they aren't doing.
Yeah.
Fish farming, you know, there's a multitude of problems.
Right.
You know, predatory birds, fish-eating birds, goodsanders that are basically a non-indigenous species,
Right.
which have got full protection.
Yeah.
They will give you a license, which we do get,
Yeah.
but the license is pitiful.
Yeah.
You know, it's more of a tokenistic thing rather than trying to let you do proper fisheries management.
Yeah.
I mean, I have shot Zanders that to get a stomach content of a Guisander, you've got to kill that bird outright.
Yeah.
If you don't kill it outright, they will regurgitate what they've got in their stomachs.
Mm-hmm.
Which I see yesterday that they brought out the stomach content analysis,
Yeah.
which I think is maybe, to me, it's not a true reflection, because unless these birds are stone dead, they're not going to get an accurate reading.
Right.
But anyway, where I was going with that to start with, I mean, I've shot Guisanders at 10 o'clock in the morning,
Yeah.
under licence,
Yeah.
and they've had 16 salmon par and 1 smolt inside it.
Wow.
And that's it. No, it's not finished for the day.
No, no.
10 o'clock in the morning, that's
Yeah.
when they start feeding again, or
Yeah.
continue feeding.
Yeah.
So you do the maths.
Yeah.
You know, that was a female.
Yeah.
That female probably produced anything up to a dozen young ones,
Sure.
which, again, a Guisander is a bloody good mother.
Yeah.
And then you start doing the maths.
Yeah.
You know, it's criminal.
Yeah. This is quite an in-depth sort of venture.
Yep.
What is it that you kind of need from people?
So basically what we need, the River Cree Hatchery and Habitat Trust is charity based.
Right.
Obviously we rely basically on donations, funding, sponsorship. You know, we've got a group of trustees that do grant applications.
Mm-hmm.
Without that we wouldn't survive.
No.
The River Board gives us support, and so does the local Angling Association.
Sure.
They all give us support. But we've got likes of riparian owners that Linloss can give us their lodge for a week,
Yeah.
plus the fishing, which we then raffle, which we raise roughly about £2,000 for that.
Wow.
We've got a guy from Cockermouth who the last 2 years has donated his holiday cottage, which again we do like a bonus ball.
Wow.
Again, it raises several £100.
And so when's the next raffle?
I would imagine it will be in the spring of the year.
Okay.
We've got another one, a guy, Andy Hine, that donated 14 a lodge for 14 people,
Right.
on the banks of Loch Etter,
Wow.
which it raised £3,000 as well.
Wow.
I mean,
Wow.
it's actually a local girl that won that
Yeah.
for the sake of £20.
Brilliant.
You know, she had her whole family up there. And,
Yeah.
but without these things, yeah, we'd probably not survive.
No.
The tanks that you've just seen, we've got individuals and businesses that sponsor a tank.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm just about to put out an email and basically ask them for sponsorship for the next season.
Right.
You know, what they do is they sponsor a tank for the last year was the 22-23 season.
Yeah.
So hopefully most of them will do the same for 23-24.
Right. And so how do they contact you if they wanted to sponsor a tank?
Most people will contact me through Messenger, through the Facebook page.
Right.
We did have a website, but we found that the website itself wasn't getting much foot traffic at all.
No. No.
Whereas Facebook, we are doing things where we're getting reach of 100,000 at times.
Yeah.
The whole thing's difficult, to be honest with you.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
mean, just trying to get ourselves out there.
Yeah.
I think we're probably pretty well known now,
Yeah.
and we've got a band of, shall we say, regular followers that do support us in a way with funding, donations,
Yeah.
and donations of things to raffle, etc.
Right.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's all appreciated. And,
Yeah. Yeah.
but then we can't forget, I'm here on my own as an employee.
Right.
But again, without the help of volunteers,
Yeah.
this wouldn't be possible either.
No.
I mean, out through the year, we're doing so many different things
Yeah.
where you've got different groups of volunteers.
Right.
I mean, like the broodstock catching, I could
Yeah.
I mean, I could fill a bus with volunteers.
Yeah.
But then when you're out doing the hard nitty-gritty stuff, you know,
Yeah.
you've got your hardcore volunteers.
Yeah.
But, I mean, everybody at the end of the day is needed.
Right.
And volunteers are ranging from, I think, young Aidan and Adrian are 9, and we've got volunteers up near the 80-year-old.
Wow, that's brilliant.
I think we're working with something in the region, probably 40 to 50 different volunteers.
Yeah.
But it gives some of them a wee bit of purpose as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
And some of the youngsters, they enjoy it in a sense because they're getting out and doing things that they probably wouldn't get doing before.
Yeah.
You know, sitting on the PlayStation.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we're constantly looking for donations
Fantastic.
and help in that respect.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we're also looking for extra trustees, which is always an ongoing battle.
Right. Right.
A trustee doesn't get paid. I mean,
No.
a trustee's doing it for the love, again, of salmon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the guys that are doing it just now, I mean, they're all doing a fantastic job. You know, we've got a chairman, secretary, treasurer,
Cool.
and then just your ordinary trustees, which are all doing things for no remuneration at all.
Right. Right.
And that's all just for the love of salmon.
Yeah.
All we're trying to do is make sure that future generations hopefully have the opportunity to fish for salmon,
Yeah.
whether they want to or not.
Yeah.
At least if they're there,
Yeah.
the opportunity's there.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
if we don't do that, what happens to the river?
Yeah.
You know, you finish up full of shopping trolleys, bicycles, sewerage.
Yeah.
Yeah. We've got to do what we're doing.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool. Well, lovely to meet you. Thank you very much for
Yep.
showing me around.
It's been a pleasure. Yep. Cheers.